starting to address this problem. This is more prevalent than cancer. This is more prevalent than cancer.
Applaud Supervisor Ashley and Supervisor Stone for putting this on the agenda. Do you have Brett Holstrom who would like to speak on this item?
Thank you for all the concern that you showed in this topic. It is a topic that I've grown up with. I live next door in Sweden to a home, a community home, where there were quite a few youngsters that were abandoned by their families because it was embarrassing to have a child who could not think or behave. And this is not one disorder, friends. This is a whole plethora of disorders, the symptoms of which look alike. They're not alike, totally alike. It's a huge circle of problems. For those of you who'd like to read up on it, lately I've read some good stories, reports in the Californian about autism, the genetics of it, diets of it, and other approaches, and I mean plural. We have a medical school coming up at UCR, and most of you today mentioned research is needed. If we need anything beyond the playbook, it is research, because we are going like this in all directions, trying to get a grasp on this. And we're starting younger and younger in detecting the disorder, and we're looking only at behaviors. Genes, yes, in the test tube, but we are far away from that. You and I are far away from that. We're closed off because we don't understand it. We don't have the skill, the laboratories don't have the skill. So we just, the teachers, you mentioned teachers, right? They have a hard time, parents have a hard time, neighbors have a hard time, sisters and brothers have a hard time. Behaviors is just the outside shell. We don't know what to do with it. I mean, goodness knows, do we understand the behavior in our family of the ones that are not diagnosed with autism? No. Behavior is not a good enough measurement for us to be using. So, when you get your SID funds, remember how critical I am about you using them very well? That would be a good place to put your SID funds in the next couple of years for the research of our own UCR medical institution and for more things such as the playbook. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Holstrom. That concludes our speakers on item 3.31, Supervisors Ashley and Stone. Move approval? Oh, you already did. Okay, motion and a second. Please vote. Motion is unanimous. Thank you for putting that on the agenda. Now this takes us to our successor agency and redevelopment agency meeting, items 4.1 through 4.5.
Second.
Motion and a second. Please vote. Motion is unanimous. Taking us to our Public Finance Authority meeting, I'm going to move separately item 5.1.
Second.
Motion and a second. Please vote. Motion is unanimous, and now it's item 5.2. I'll move approval. Motion and a second. Please vote. Supervisor Benoit and Supervisor Ashley. There you go. Excuse me. Motion is unanimous. That now takes us to our 9:30 a.m. public hearings, 9:1 through 9:10. Ms. Monroe. We do have one speaker on item 9.3.
Yes. We also have a speaker on 9.5, I believe.
Yes, we do.
All right, we'll take some of the items, if you don't mind, in a block, and then we'll save the speakers until the end. We do have some of items that we're requesting to be dismissed, and that's item 9.7.
Say that.
9.9. 9.7, which which is on 42650 El Campo Road, and 9.9, which is 41995 Cambridge Avenue. We're asking that both of those cases
How
be
much did you sell
dismissed.
them for?
9.7 to 9.9, and what you're asking?
How much did you settle them for? So we have that in the record.
We aren't settling, we're dismissing the case in its entirety.
Both of them, 9.7 and 9.9?
Yes, one is because the property owner is deceased, and the other, it's a foreclosure.
Move staff recommendations.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to dismiss items 9.7 and 9.9. Please vote. I'm sorry, anyone in the audience wishing to speak on items 9.7 and 9.9? Seeing no request to speak, we have a motion and a second. Please vote. Supervisor Ashton. Motion is unanimous, okay.
Okay. Item 9.2 and 9.6, we're asking that it be continued until November 20th.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second to continue 9.2 and 9.6 to November 20th. Is that
Any
what
no
you said?
speakers?
And with that clarification, anyone in the audience wishing to speak on those two items, 9.2 and 9.6? Seeing no one, we have a motion and a second for continuance into November. Please vote. Motion is unanimous.
And item 9.10 has already been paid through the title company. We're asking to take this off calendar. The property owner is requesting a refund, but they are working with him offline.
Okay, anyone in the audience wishing to speak on item 9.10? Seeing no requests, I'll move that this item be taken off calendar. Please vote. Motion and a second. Please vote. Oh. Motion is unanimous. Okay.
Now we have some items that have been tentatively approved for settlement. Would you like to take these in a block motion?
Yes.
Okay. Item 9.1 in the amount of $4,000. Item 9.4 in the amount of $800.
Okay.
Item 9.8 in the amount of $1,600.
That's it. Correct?
Yes.
All right. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak on items 9.2, 9.1, 9.4, or 9.8?
Move staff recommendations.
So, a motion and a second. Please vote. 9.1, 9.4, 9.8. Motion is unanimous. Now, how about 9.3?
If you'd like, I will allow the
Go ahead.
speaker to go first.
Okay, Mr. Flood.
Good morning again.
Morning.
Okay, I'm a struggling homeowner. I have a house in Riverside County. I have 3 deals on my lot. One's an awning, one's a smaller shed, and one's a bigger shed, a workshop. Okay, I've had a garage conversion in 2010, and the inspectors walked through the whole property back and forth a few times and stuff, and everything was fine then. In 2011, the inspector came out and said that the sheds needed permits, one shed needed electric out of it, and the awning needed a permit. Okay, I bought the house in 1990, everything was there when I bought the house. So I don't know what's going on, but then I had an inspector come out on the 27th of last month, and she said everything was fine and that I shouldn't need anything because the awning was like a hay, because I'm on horse property. So the awning is like storage for hay, covered for hay. And then the other sheds, like a modular shed, she said that was fine. The other one I took electric out of, she said I didn't have to, I shouldn't have had to, because it was a smaller shed and I have electric back there for security lighting, electric gate and everything. So I'm just here to see what I can do about it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Flood. Mr. Buster, any thoughts? Ms. Monroe?
I'm your supervisor.
Oh,
You're-
okay.
You're right below, where's that, a canyon development, aren't you, on Allen Street, isn't that where it goes? You're right off Highway 74.
Oh, sure, I have pictures also too.
Anyway, let's hear from Ms. Monroe, and then we'll see what we can do, okay? Just stand by.
All right.
In 2011, February 2011, notices of violations were issued. There had been a previous open case on this. There was a garage conversion. There's construction without permits. Two sheds contain electrical, which you cannot have without permits. There's a freestanding awning, which is in the second picture, which needs a permit because it's over the allowable amount without a permit. 5 citations have been issued. Multiple re-inspections of the property reveal that the violations remain. He has not applied for permits with the county, and it's been over a year and 7 months. And as of September 27th, 2012, a recent inspection reveals that the structures remain on site without permits.
Okay, I think I got the picture. So these are accumulated
Yes, and
inspection
it's
costs and
it's
other
4,000 of-
processing costs for the...
Right, and we aren't even able to close the case at this time. Sometimes we just do interim enforcement to let the property owner know that this is costing them money.
Why don't we'll sit down with you and go over this in more detail. So I'll continue this matter over for a couple of weeks at least, and I hope you're available, because we need to sit down with code enforcement in my office to go over this case, and we'll see what we can do. We understand how people get caught in the process, and it's, you have a lot of fairly complicated, well, they should, hopefully we can simplify things for you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Supervisor Bush, you want to continue this for how long?
Yeah, what have we got in a couple of weeks, 3 weeks? October?
October 16th.
Can we push it off a week after that?
We have 2 dark weeks, so November 6th will be the next.
Let's do November 2nd.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to continue item 9.3 to November 6th. Please vote. Motion is unanimous. Thank you.
Okay, I will also let the speaker on 9.5 go first.
Ms. Ramirez, Lupe Ramirez. It's on item 9.5.
Good morning.
So I'm going to ask you to, there you go. Perfect. Just
I
use
had
it.
a mobile home in my property, and originally they gave me permits to go ahead and install the mobile home there. And then the code enforcement came by and asked me to remove it. But at that time, I was going through foreclosure and all that. And I was able to remove the mobile home from the property, but it took me a long time. Now I get a bill for $900 and something, which I cannot afford to pay. And I was asking them if they could reduce it down, or at least let me pay for the 2 citations, which it comes to $300.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ramirez. Let's ask Ms. Monroe. The amount is $900, Ms. Monroe?
Yes,
$939. Has there been an offer to try and just pay this over time?
Yes, and we also offered a reduced amount.
A reduced amount? And ma'am, you're not willing to take a reduced amount, or?
Well, it comes to $500, which I cannot afford to pay.
All right, what I'm going to ask then is that, has anyone from my office met with the, all right. All right. I can, depending on if you'd like to talk with my staff, Mr. Ramirez, I'm happy to support the $500 paid out over 4 or 5 months, if we can do that, be $100 a month to help pay for this. If you want to have that decision today, or if you want to meet with my staff, you're welcome to do so. Not much will change, I would suspect, though.
Yeah. Well, I have to pay medical insurance and all that, and $100 is too much a month.
All right.
For the next 5 months. So I have the $300 to pay now, and for the citation.
All right, let me,
I already have too many payments and I don't wanna get myself in debt. Medical insurance is way too high.
all right. We'll go ahead and approve, I'll support the $300 that you're offering, and,
Pay those now.
and, I'll support that.
Thank
Okay.
you, thank you.
All right, then if you'd just like to make a motion to,
Do we have a motion, a second on that motion? Reduction from 9, actually, they went down to 5 and now 3. Do I have a second? Please vote. Motion is unanimous. All right, that concludes our 9:30 a.m. public hearings. We also, thank you, Ms. Moreau. We have our Housing Authority meeting. Oh, I'm sorry. 9/11, item 9/11. This is a public hearing on official notice of court appeal decision Boots versus County of Riverside. Anyone in the audience wishing to speak on item 9.11? Seeing no one then, I'll move to close the public hearing with approval. Do I have a second? Item 9.11. Item 9.11. Do I have a second? Second. Please vote. Supervisor Stone. You to vote on 9/11. Motion is unanimous. Now, to our Housing Authority meeting. It's not 11 o'clock yet, so we have 10 minutes. So, we're going to go into our public comments, oral communication. First up is Donald Walker. Mr. Walker, please come forward. I'll remind the speakers that you have 3 minutes to speak. Once you start speaking, the green light will come on. When you have 1 minute remaining, the yellow light comes on.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This morning I came to appeal my property taxes. Okay, I've been jumping through every hoop that's been put in front of me. I feel like I'm running a hurdles race and they keep throwing hurdles in front of me. Right here I have the fact confirmation that proves I confirmed it. I get in there this morning and trust me, I'm off work, I'm losing money as we speak. They say, oh gee, we never got it. So now I have to take time off work to come back in again. I don't understand, first of all, why I have to give the County of Riverside an interest-free loan for 2, 3, 4 years, however long it takes to get this done. And when things like this happen in the private sector, people are wrote up and terminated. All I get from the people over here is, oh gee, that's too bad, just come back. I'm a citizen. I was taught that we, the people, are the government. We vote in people to represent us, and they hire people to work for us. And yet, in this situation, every time I walk into a governmental office, I end up writing a check. I had to write a $30 check for this, plus spend all the money for this, plus take time off work to come up here to be told, oh gee, sorry, we made a mistake. Eat it. I know I don't travel, you know, obviously I'm a blue-collar worker. I don't travel in a suit and tie, circles like you guys do. But what are we going to do to streamline this process? What, in this age of computers, I don't understand why values aren't reset when they're sold.
Mr. Walker, I'm not sure. Are you disputing an
Evaluation.
Evaluation, and you know that there is a process by which you have to go through.
My point is, I've jumped through every hoop they've asked me to do. And then when I get here, it's, oh gee, too bad.
Did you file for an appeal through the assessor's office? Okay.
There it is, right there.
You have, okay.
And there's the facts that I confirmed it, and they're telling me, oh, you didn't confirm it, too bad, come back again. I can't afford to take time off work because of somebody's mistake.
Where do you live?
Menifee, this is Sun City.
When you leave, you take your problem back to Barry Bush right here and discuss it with him. We'll look and see what we can do to help. The gentleman waiting there? Okay.
But I just want, you know, every time I walk into a governmental office, I end up writing a check. I don't get any help. All I'm asking is for help. I'm asking for what's right and fair.
Okay, Supervisor Ashley, your representative, has just offered to have you meet with one of his staff members.
Visit to my staff back there,
Thank you
maybe
for
we
your
can
time.
intervene and
But
help
we have
you.
to streamline this process. It's ridiculous.
So they have a separate deal, they have a separate elected head, the assessor who runs that department. So, you know, we can't, they don't work for us, but we'll see what we can do to help you. If you can stop for our,
This whole system
Yeah.
is set up to discourage people from following through. The whole system is set up to discourage people, to make people quit. And that is wrong.
yeah, I know.
We, the people, are.
I had a similar case and I gave up. I know how
Okay.
you feel.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Rebecca Ludwig, followed by Gary Grant.
Here,
Yes.
just a question. You know, in the federal government, if you overpay in your taxes and you do your tax return and you get a refund from the federal government, you get interest on the money that the government was holding for you. And if you're late in paying taxes, the federal government will charge you not only penalties, but also interest. For county council, I mean, right now we have in excess, I think, of 30,000 appeals for property taxes. And there are some people that believe that their properties, in some cases, are over $1 million over value, and yet they have to wait not only a couple of years potentially to get the relief that they're seeking, but we don't pay any interest on that money that we've been holding. Is that governed by state law, or is that something the board can address?
That's something that we can look into. There's been a backlog with appeals because of the change in the property taxes. We've added additional counsel to assist the Board of Assessment with that action. I can look at that for you.
I appreciate that. It just seems unfair that, number one, there's such delays, and number two, that we hold money, our citizens' money, without giving them the interest that we're earning on their behalf for the county coffers, and just doesn't seem like a very fair system.
But at least we're doing something. Okay, Rebecca Ludwig, followed by Gary Grant.
Good morning, Council. I have been to many of your meetings for years now. You all have stated at one time or another that your decisions are in the best interest of the taxpayers and that you want transparency. But in my opinion, you have done just the opposite. It has become all about the money. All of you have failed to investigate situations to correct the problems or to prevent them. And definitely not for the best interest of the taxpayers. The numerous lawsuits will confirm this, and your track record can prove it. You've been losing. I reside in District 2 under Supervisor Tavaglione, and here is what he has done in District 2. Sir, you have allowed a manager/county employee to violate the Board of Supervisors Policy C-25, who has verbally abused, stalked, harassed, and bullied seniors for the last 7 years at the E.D.D. Smith Senior Center. A manager who has destroyed senior attendance and its activities, has caused the center to close its doors at 3 instead of 5, and this was happening long before the recession even started. The center is empty by 1:00 p.m. every day of the week. Some advisory board members have resigned, volunteers have quit, and some financial supporters have withdrawn funding. Your recent paid luncheon at this center, Supervisor Tavaglione, was another staged performance. Many of the people who were attending there are not regular members. They were asked to come in so that they could sing the praise of people that are unqualified to be managing that. They were also there to ask you questions because you stood there and told them that you could not talk about elections, your election, or other things pertaining to that. Yet, at the previous luncheon, you addressed AB 89, and at this luncheon, conveniently, someone asked you about the Cardenas Market, and that you were trying to put one in, but due to the elimination of RDA, you could no longer do this. it's inconceivable to me how you can violate their laws
Thank you, Rebecca.
in order
Next
to put your
speaker
name
is
out there.
Gary Grant, followed by Britt Holstrom.
Thank you, Mr. Grant.
Good morning once again. I think it's morning time. I am here on a different situation and discussion, and it's in relationship to contribution of tax money. As you know, I'm a representative and president of RCUC, Riverside County United Communities. And our basis, our philosophy is to learn about how our governance is run and to educate people in relationship to how it is being destroyed, disrupted by other individuals. So therefore, what I'm doing is asking obviously, if you look at our agenda, that my address as the president, I'm the only one available. I don't see anybody else in the thousands that live in Riverside County that come to this meeting in the relationship to democracy. We are supposed to attend these meetings in numbers for any agenda item that you have on there so that we have oversight. We don't have this. So what I would ask for is that you financially assist us in creating an education program for oversight for the governances of Riverside County. It is an expensive chore on my part and on many other people that come down here to attend these meetings and to understand exactly what you are doing with our finances. I can only address two of your issues because they're so involved and so complex. I've illustrated this many, many times. I would like to see a very distinctive, clear way of understanding our own government. So please consider this idea and concept as you donate to other voluntarily organizations to assist us, we the people, in understanding and educating those people that need to come to these meetings. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gary. Next speaker, Britt Holstrom, followed by Robert Beatty.
I'll start out with the positive. Mrs. Stone, congratulations. I found out yesterday by researching the hospice services around this area and in talking to the Hospice of the Valleys that you've already supported them. Kudos to you, because that's one of the organizations that I really have respect for. As a matter of fact, I have so much respect for them and also for Hospice of the Inland Valley, by the way, but particularly this organization. So when our super duper community center, which Mr. Buster is building for us over in Mid Valley, when that and the library is up and running, I've told the Hospice of the Valley that we're going to invite them over to Mid Valley so that they can actually tell us about the wonderful services that they do have to offer citizens in the Southland in the last 6 months or however long they live. It is very, very nice, okay? So that's a good, I don't know what funds you used and I really don't care, okay? But whatever you did, they appreciated it. Now, I said before when I was up here that I am in need of an education as to how the board and the county works. I didn't say it in those words, but that's what I meant. So I would like to have a copy of the ethics code so that I can understand it. And I will be starting to read the ordinances, and that's a lifetime pursuit, I suppose. I also would like to understand how we ask for public records, because I've been all over the map, shoved here, shoved there, turned down there, and argued with at other places. I don't want to go through that. I just want to know the process so that the proper papers can arrive or be searched for, and no sandpaper, process there for anybody, okay? So if you can provide me with a copy of the ethics code, that also would include conflict of interest issues and how to get public papers, hopefully on time, or hopefully they're available. You just have to find out. I would really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Holstrom. Robert Mabey, followed by Julie Waltz.
Good morning, Robert Mabey speaking. In the appellate court, August 23rd, I filed a motion to recall the remitter in case 187104, based upon fraud upon the court by the County of Riverside. The county filed no opposition. I filed 18 documents, including the following 4 documents. Document number 1, Supervisors Ashley report on agenda 334-12-2011 was based on public records and determined that outside counsel falsely represented to the appellate court that the construction of a new road would provide Robert Mabey unobstructed access to his property. Page 2, Supervisor Ashley said it is a matter of record that no easement was ever recorded, nor was any written settlement ever offered for loss of access. Supervisor Ashley recommended that $242,628 be paid in compensation. Supervisor Tavaglione, Buster Stone voted no. This was expected. As reported in the Press Enterprise, July 1996, Bob Buster would sell his vote and Jeff Stone paid $26,000 in fines for corruption cases to the Attorney General. In one case, the Pharmacy Board made 20 accusations, including improperly labeled drugs, dishonesty, fraud, deceit, and corruption. Document number 2, page 1, Agenda 10.3, Resolution number F9550, October 3rd, 1995. To give 4 property owners easements for ingress and egress over district-owned land. Page 2, justification. The county has landlocked the property owners and these easements will provide new access to the property owners. Page 3, easement deed to Robert Mabey signed by John F. Tavaglione. Buster voted yes. Document 3, a letter dated March 1st, 2012 from the clerk of the board stating the county recorder has determined the deeds have never been recorded. On video, June 12, 2012, Supervisor Tavaglione told this board and the public that the deeds were not recorded because the escrow was not closed. Document 4, County Council letter, June 14, 2012, stating there was no escrow. On July 25, 2012, I received from the clerk of the board an audio tape of Agenda 10.3, October 3, 1995. Supervisor Tavaglione, speaking as the chairman of the Flood Control Board, instructed the board to vote on Agenda 10.1 through 10.4 as a bundle. There was no comment from the board and no comment from the public was allowed and asked for. Clearly, this was in violation of the Brown Act. Mr. Tavaglione, have you come to grips now that there was no escrow, that nobody ever heard of an escrow, that was something that you dreamt up where you're supposed to be able to listen to 3 people at the same time? Could you tell me what happened to that escrow? And who told you that? You know, I'm not your problem. County council is your problem.
Thank you, Mr. Mabey. Your time's up.
All right, thank you.
Next and last speaker, Julie Waltz.
Good morning again. I just want to ask a couple questions if I may. This ad said it's about jobs, and it says the Riverside County Chamber of Commerce supports your issue, and the Beaumont Chamber of Commerce, and the Indio Chamber of Commerce, the Hemet San Jacinto Valley Chamber of Commerce, Greater Riverside Chamber of Commerce, Palm Springs Chamber of Commerce, Palm Desert area, and Lake Elsinore, and Eastvale, and Beaumont. Aren't the Chamber of Commerces supported with tax dollars? Aren't they funded by the tax dollars? Does anybody know? No. They're not, they're private? Okay, I wanted to know that. And then, Supervisor Tavaglione, there was an article in the Press Enterprise Wednesday, September 26th, and it says that you point to his record in public office. Oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry. You said, you point to your record in public office as evidence that the Democrats have missed the mark. And you said, I'm elected by the people in the district, and I'm elected to carry the district and the voice of the district. It is so evenly spread by Democrats and Republicans, he said. So you carry the voice of the people, of we the people, or just your district of other people?
Julie, this is not a question answer period. This is your opportunity to comment. So you're commenting, oral communication.
I'm commenting.
Okay,
And you're not, okay.
Appreciate your comments.
Okay, and that's mainly what I wanted to say. But since I was gonna ask you a question, but you said I can't ask a question, but if I was gonna be allowed to ask the question, I was gonna ask why you had such a change of heart on this quarry issue.
I appreciate you asking the question. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Our next speaker, actually, it is our last speaker, unless there anyone else in the audience wishing to speak in oral communication. All right, seeing no request to speak, then we'll now go to our, 11 a.m. Housing Authority meeting, item 10.1 and 10.2, and I'll move approval of those two items. We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion is unanimous. Now our Flood Control Water Conservation District meetings, 11.1, 2, and 3.
Moving approval of those items?
Second. Motion and a second. Please vote. Motion is unanimous. And taking us to our last item on the agenda for today, our 11 a.m. public hearings, items 16.1 and 16.2, 16.1A and B and 16.2.
16.1 was continued to October 16.
I'm sorry, 16.1 has been continued, thank you. So we will go to 16.2. Christine.
Good morning, Chairman Tavaglione, members of the board. My name is Christy Lovelady. I'm representing the Planning Department on agenda item 16.2, agricultural preserve case number 1011. This project is located in the wine country off of Rancho California Road between Cali Contento and Anza Road. The proposal is to remove approximately 5.65 acres from agricultural preserve number 12. It's consistent with the Citrus Vineyard Policy Area and the Draft Wine Country Community Plan. And the environmental assessment prepared for the project shows no environmental impact. Staff recommends that the board take 3 actions: adoption of the mitigated negative declaration for the environmental assessment number 41524, adoption of resolution number 2012-46, and tentative approval of agricultural preserve case number 1011. That concludes staff's comments.
Okay, Christy, thank you. Anyone in the audience wishes to speak on item 16.2? See no request to speak then. Close the public hearing and call on Supervisor Stone.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I strongly support this agenda item. This is a request by the proprietor of South Coast Winery, who's got some large expansion plans with the adoption of our wine country